series got picked up. Power got picked up without Kanan existing. And that's why I don't even appear. Exception of the network. Period.
The message is loud, but he speaks it calmly. It was no coincidence that you witnessed an empire. Kanan wasn't even the first to be in power. Later, he added the monster. Hollywood continued to act as though they had not noticed him. In the words of the 50s, we are running the TV war tonight. Accolades that ignore the situation, the transition from celebrities to larger pipelines, and how a street-smart guy constructed a studio machine and then taught the room to appreciate it. Instead of starting on the radio or television, start with a blank spot. He clarifies that QAnon, the character that everyone associated with power, wasn't even real when he was originally picked up. He had to keep his showrunner operating, and the machine needed new gear, so that came later. It's the first indication of his approach to TV, which is slower and more methodical than his approach to music. That was something we made later, as if I needed to convince Courtney to continue working. Thus, it took us around 2 years to build it before it was released. He claims to have done TV before, but not in this manner. He's not a one-time guest star or a cameo for clout, which makes Run unique. He is constructing an engine that allows for the timing of composition, production, and talent. He describes sitting in the rooms, reading projects, and then observing how they develop, how the rewrites turn out, how the director changes, and what makes it through the budget comments. He then uses this cycle to create a formula that maintains consistency and quality. You can only truly build your formula in this manner. In real time, you can hear the room opening for him. The networks lean in, the notes soften, the vocabulary shifts from maybe to anything you want. And the doors he used to knock on have recently begun swinging outward. It isn't hype. Operational trust is what it is. You gain leverage through consistency, delivery, and budgeting. Furthermore, he is cashing it without sound. It is beginning to appear. Look, it's beginning to open up now. The ideal illustration is the QAnon pivot. Kanan wasn't an egotist. It was structural. He developed a persona to open up new avenues for those he supported. The show now has an axis that can branch off into its own universe, thanks to the writer's continued focus. Seasons, spin-offs, and a universe are created in this manner. That's how a rapper becomes the safest option for a studio and the shadow companion of a showrunner. This is also where he differs from the majority of star producers. There's no call he's waiting for. If the fit isn't right, he's designing the call, selling, restructuring, and shifting a project. This isn't arrogant. It's a procedure. He will deliver the impossible on time, bringing a development to the network that believes or strengthening the belief. Now, when the telephone rings, a favor doesn't sound like it. With a fan base ready to binge, a time frame sketched, and writers attached, it sounds like a plan that's already working. He is bored with the drama and maintains a practical tone. Part of it is that he views television as infrastructure, whereas other artists view it as a victory lap. To ensure that no one is waiting for inspiration, you create lanes, fill them with killers, and maintain traffic flow. As a result, the viewer can live inside the catalog rather than just visit it. In a boardroom where he is no longer viewed as a stunt, but rather as a solution. The prizes are the portion that annoys folks the most. He shrugs, rather than sidesteps the question. Why stand beneath a show's chandeliers if a platform won't stand behind it? Instead of dressing up for a room that won't reveal his name, he would prefer to continue creating.
Is the reason, like, when stars doesn't get behind a show like that, is that the reason we don't see you at the Emmys and the Golden Globes?
That's why I don't even appear.
And this is the point at which the culture is most disconnected. The audience understands the program is a staple, and they quote it like rap and argue it like sports. The reviewers eat a lengthy lunch. Without pleading, he lays out the discrepancy and poses the one question that a TV tycoon should care about. Inside the building, where is the presence? He will go where the conversation can result in resources, more seasons, more spin-offs, and more output for the base that actually shows up if the trophies don't match the size of the conversation.
But power just as much.
And you go,
about it.
where is it? And you go, where is it at in the actual show?
He does not oppose institutions. He opposes permission. See how quickly the same gatekeepers become partners by presenting it with receipts and a schedule. Okay, if the prizes are given forth. Otherwise, episodes are still shipped by the machine. The fans continue to treat Power like Sunday service, and the universe continues to grow. He respects that scoreboard. Scale, deliver, and repeat. In order to keep folks on the real network, I'll appear and then create more of it. There is a more straightforward metric beneath that position. Visibility with conversion potential. How many people find the show and how frequently they return are important to him. A distribution partner can create noise on a larger pipe if he is hesitant. A partner who leans in challenges the rival to keep up by throwing more episodes into the lane. That is interpreted by the audience as momentum. It is interpreted as leverage by the industry. He interprets it as usual. Put forth the effort, safeguard the authors, okay? And start working on the upcoming season before anyone gives you a certificate. Therefore, the response to the question of why he appears unfazed by red carpet politics is that he has already been dealt with. Let the ceremony be the trophy. He'll accept extensions. Allow headlines to conjecture. He'll choose a different time slot. He is obstinate when it comes to outputs in an industry that is all about optics. Maintain a full pipeline. Maintain a lively discussion. Continue feeding the base. Everything else may or may not show up. In the morning, the engine will still be present. Pipe size equals power in TV. Networks communicate their priorities even before a billboard is erected, as he discovered early on. It's evident in the way they schedule, budget, and communicate with award voters. The public sees your program everywhere when a platform treats it like oxygen. You're up against the same fantastic episode when it doesn't. This will be placed because the network considers it a priority. That fact doesn't make him pout. He is charting it. You can't miraculously flood the viewers in advertising if the network doesn't open the taps. However, it tells him something even more significant if a show crushes despite little effort. The foundation is sturdy enough to support pipes, and his calculus shifts at that point. He will continue to feed the machine. More spin-offs and episodes until the platform is forced to make a decision. Watch him walk it to a larger hose or increase the pressure. Interview?
So the network is growing at a pace that they're absolutely happy with, as far as Stars is concerned.
And the subtext is audible. Stars appeared larger on the show. The show didn't always appear larger because of the pipeline. Are we renewed? Gradually gives way to where else can we be seen? Because of this mismatch, he even alludes to downstream distribution in a single sentence, which would expose this series to viewers who never paid for the original channel. That's strategy, not shade. Expand the pipeline for Power on Stars arriving on Amazon if the task is sticky. I believe it was, or something. It's a straightforward consequence. Greater opportunities, greater learning, and more power. In one building, the same episode that battled for billboards turns into a magnet in another. Additionally, you are no longer pleading for marketing once you have demonstrated that the audience will follow. You are negotiating based on evidence. At that point, the upcoming season might become whatever you desire. When scheduling becomes a duty rather than a favor, it's plumbing, not personal. He approaches every call with such an attitude. Don't gripe about the tap. Make a better line connection. Seek the reach rather than the trophy. Additionally, avoid getting high when the reach comes. Make it into a world where people can live with new characters and seasons. Because a planet can accomplish what a single hit cannot. It endures changes in network mood. Worlds are not created by themselves. Because the names describe the outcome. He keeps going around the same names. A showrunner who is resilient under duress. A cast that appears unstoppable when the action starts and maintains its weight in quiet passages. He's not being flattering when he says their names. It is the blueprint.
That one, Courtney Kemp, the writer, showrunner, she's, she's dope. And it's grown, it's good. Like, I feel good about it. Amari Hardwick, we got a whole crew of people that's talented.
The machine is that. An hourly lead, a writer general, and a bench deep enough to spin out without the plot fizzling out. In the same way, he views music cues as utilitarian rather than ornamental. Music must be used as storytelling technology, not branding. If a scenario requires the soundtrack to speak for a character,
When I felt like it was more important to have good music speak for the characters at points like.
the actor is also aware of the ecosystem. When other celebrities sit close to him, you can hear their conversations. Knowing full well that being in the universe alters one's profession, I am half serious and half joking. It goes beyond a mere cameo. With fans who treat it like a post-season ball, it's a lane into a franchise.
Put me on Power, man.
Put me on Power, man.
There you go.
Now we need it. That's what I need.
The Globe holds, which is why there is that demand. The audience doesn't feel tricked when a character leaves and another one comes in. The norms remain recognizable even as a new area of the city comes to life. That constancy isn't a result of chance. Staffing is the source of it. Authors who can mimic a voice without actually replicating it. Directors who are aware of when to cut away and when to sit on a face. Producers who aren't afraid to say one more or move on. And his producer's math is beneath it all. Keep the people who deliver safe. Maintain them in action and provide frameworks that facilitate the replication of wise choices. Kanan was no ego booster. The purpose of the framework and axis was to offer the audience a villain they couldn't stop watching, keep Courtney employed, and expand storylines. If you do that frequently enough, you'll have more than just a show. You're working in a studio. He discusses it more like a foreman than a poet, because Season 6 is accessed through blueprints. Actors request to jump in because of blueprints. Why networks continue to cooperate with you even if you don't win prizes. And why viewers flock to spin-offs without a trailer explaining the rules. He then changes the tone rather than the discipline, turning to comedy as a calculated tactic. Different speed, same strategy. As you grow the globe, build the engine, pick the pipe, and make the room laugh. Without switching engines, he changes lanes. Comedy isn't an escape from your job. It's an additional means of controlling his image and gaining more TV time. Plain as day. He talks about pitching A&E, a variety program, first. It's just another pipeline he decided to create because it expands his presence and goes beyond what the audience anticipates from him. There's no mystery about it.
I had sold the variety show to A&E first.
Comedy warms the room if drama creates the universe. He wants an environment where people can relax, where interviews aren't PR sprints, and where narrative twists and gunshots may hit sensitive spots. Additionally, it is brand insurance. It gets more difficult to freeze him out the more formats he can command. Someone else says yes tomorrow, while A&E says yes today. The calendar is suddenly filled with opportunities to show humanity in front of millions of people. And he explains in detail why this lane is important at the moment. There is a relaxation of standards. Sharp edges used to make networks cringe, but now they are welcomed. It's an opening, not pandemonium. You can be funnier, more genuine, and more endearing than the next man who still believes he's trying out for daytime. TV, if you have the timing to stay on the line without getting fired, they will therefore begin to take actions that enable us to express ourselves in a contented manner. With softer clothing, this is the same playbook as the criminal saga. Construct the engine. Select the pipe. Make it hard to ignore and deliver on time. You appear everywhere your audience is, not because you beg. Wants to locate you, and you amuse them in the process. The chuckle is glue, not ornamentation. It maintains focus in between the more intense beats and restores a mogul's humanity, which is a distinct form of power. He may also cast his reality in a new way with comedy. In a sketch, a rapper who is incapable of acting in a drama turns their cameo into a layup. Suddenly, a director who excels in timing but struggles with battles appears to be a genius. He can try new things without jeopardizing the stability of his empire. In the same way that he scaled QAnon into a universe, he can scale anything that lands. The move is therefore not arbitrary. Attention is being vertically integrated. On Sunday evenings, keep the base entertained. Then offer them a cause to return in the middle of the week for something faster, lighter, and looser. The awards can remain silent if the public pays attention. Additionally, ratings are a vote. When it comes to the bits of TV that most people never watch, he is brutal. Delivery is a ledger, but drama may be art. In order to get to the same frame, he discusses works that use 3 times the budget. A shrug that was actually a warning. You must master the arithmetic if you wish to be in charge of your destiny. Otherwise, it will rule you.
They're spending 3 times
Right.
the budget to do it.
It's more than just a grievance. It's an excuse to make better decisions. Employ a staff that is not just cost-effective, but also adept at shooting. Invest where the audience is interested and retreat where they are not. Starving the program is not the goal. This is to ensure that expenses are in accordance with the actual needs of the show, because discipline is rewarded with leverage rather than praise. Delivered under budget with heat on the screen, each subsequent phone contact seems unique. He forces the same truth onto TV music. Music is perceived by audiences as a feeling. He considers them to be logistical. The sound sometimes seems like an afterthought because, in many rooms, music is what's left over after the large toys are purchased. He brings that up to clarify why his shows feel like they were scored on purpose rather than by mistake. Not to complain.
In the last place in the budget that they actually allocated their finances to getting the music.
It's not a romantic fix. Find cues that deserve their place, battle for music like it's a character, and lock down the budget early. The scene plays larger if the song is a scene partner. You wasted money if the song is a wallpaper. He employs the same discipline elsewhere. Remove anything that doesn't inspire the viewers. Don't confuse noise with value. Instead, invest in the elements that work. The other part of this sermon is delivery. The trust compounds if you go on dates. Nothing else you say will matter if you miss them. On the first one, he has established a reputation. Scripts that show up on time. Executives can breathe easy with these dailies. Episodes that unambiguous criteria without attorneys rewriting half of the conversation. It's not glamorous. But it's how you have the flexibility to stretch a criminal story across one network while experimenting with the comedy block on another. The mogul version of Right Every Day is this. He produces on time each and every day. Instead of existing outside of that discipline, the art thrives within it. He continues to convert mechanics into perception. Trust the figures and make the appropriate move if the numbers indicate one thing while the billboards portray another. Regarding how networks promote their selected ones, he is direct. The mailers, the sets, for your consideration. And the way certain programs receive a glossy presentation while others are encouraged to be thankful for Thursdays are all examples of this.
Because it was like, you know, you can see the priorities. Like the networks, you see those things like for your consideration.
I don't even know what that is.
Like inside the different publications or on for your consideration. Like that.
He therefore declines to use someone else's pamphlet as a yardstick for himself. He will print himself on channels they don't control using formats they didn't create if they won't print him. He doesn't have an allergy to establishments. He simply will not allow them to be the sole mirror. The only evidence that matters is the presence that converts. Viewers become subscribers. Season renewals are being generated by subscribers. The audience pleaded for a spin-off of a character before the pilot's credits had even rolled.
And you haven't seen that, but you've seen it.
Although they can't deceive you. Numbers aren't everything. The campaign you missed becomes a footnote if the rooms continue to fill up and the streams continue to rise. You turn into your own advertisement. Ironically, the organizations you avoided begin phoning. The loop is that if you make the task indisputable, the optics will gradually adjust to reflect the fact you have already established. He keeps adding pipes, nights, and forms because of this. To possess additional locations where the audience can say yes rather than to appear busy. The posters may arrive late when they do. The program starts on time. There is no mystery to the TV story. Construct the engine. Employ murderers. Pick the appropriate pipe and deliver as if your life depended on it. On it, he didn't wait to be knighted by a panel. He transferred power to a universe with his own gravity from a pickup without a cannon, kept budgets reasonable so the art could grow without begging, and sold a variety show since laughing garners more attention than awards. Awards may eventually catch up. They may not. In any case, the universe he created continues to pay off in the form of renewals, new lanes, and punctual crowds. He respects that scoreboard. The remainder is commentary if the rooms are full. Although he speaks quietly, the intention is clear. Keep shipping, own the pipes you can master, and don't. If you do that for long enough, the brochures will begin to resemble history pages. And the people who are actually watching will make the decisions about what is important in real time.